are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees, and I may fall as I'm so close to the edge.
Midway through the season, we are at it. 5 points clear at the top of the league over second. Sorry, Ollie. Sorry, I had to mention it. Sorry, Dom, even as well. You know, an even bigger margin in there as well. But I'm sure we'll touch on that. Got some cracking guests that are going to be coming in as well, giving us their thoughts on their season and where they think they'll finish, even though we are halfway through. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It's going to be a good one. Get your comments in. I may not be able to read everybody's comment out, but we'll do what we can and try and get them all on. If you can, please do follow us, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. You know that, carry on. I'm not going to make you. If you want to do it, do it. If not, then just, yeah, simple as. We are on loads of socials. We are on social media. I'm going to bring everyone in just a moment. But here's where you can find us. So here we are. Everybody is in the building. Even the Luton fans turned up, Pidge.
About time, innit?
Get them in early, chaps. Thanks everyone for giving up your time. Obviously, I know it's midway through the season, and we're all trying to obviously piece together and see what we've seen so far. There's been some good, some bad injuries along the way. But I'll come to you first, Ollie. Second in the table. First and foremost, let us tell people where they can find you and your stuff.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Ollie. I'm at Beastly Ollie on Twitter. And you can find the channel at Chef United Way on Twitter. And it's just the Chef United Way on YouTube. Yeah, feeling good about the season so far. It's been injury affected and yet somehow still in a fantastic position. I saw you had to get your dig in early, 5 points clear, but you didn't look 5 points better than us at Bramall Lane. So there's pros and cons to how your season's going. But no, feeling fairly good and confident. Obviously, we've got that 9 point gap now, and it'd be disappointing to throw it away, shall we say. I think we've got the best player in the league as well. I'll throw that out there early. I'm sure there'll be some João Pedro shouts, or there'll be people wanting to argue, but I think in Illiman and Die, we've got the standout player, and as long as he stays fit, I'm feeling confident.
No, happy days. We've got Pidge, a Watford supporter, fourth in the table at the minute. Definitely up Dom's backside. But yeah, I mean, let people know where they can find you and your stuff as well.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers for letting us on, mate. It's a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, get on over to TaylorMade Army TV on YouTube and TaylorMade Army Forum on Facebook, TMA_TV on Twitter. Yeah, fourth in the table, mate. I mean, especially with our injury record at present, then yeah, a lot of people would have stepped their hand off for that. But yeah, plenty of the season to go. Probably people say plenty of managers for us to go through at the moment, but we're hopefully settled on the right one now. Bit unlucky with Rob Edwards and start the season, but I think with Bilic we've got the right man now, and get a few of these injured players back, and yeah, I think we can push on.
No, fair shout. T-Boys, are you in? Just because you're not on camera. Yeah, you're still in, pal. Obviously, it's all right. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well, first and foremost. It's been a while since we spoke. But tell people where they can follow you and your stuff. You know, you're on the outside, the cusps of the playoffs in 7th, and we're obviously very close last year. Let people know a bit about you and your channel as well.
Yeah, obviously T-Boys TV, like you can see there. Doing a lot of stuff, obviously Luton content, going to the games, etc. Talking about games before and that sort of thing. Also do, other content, like for example, when the World Cup was on, obviously done content regarding that. Do Premier League content as well. A lot of different things, really. Sometimes we even switch it up and, go to the lower leagues and do watch-alongs there, really. So anything. We also do, boxing stuff as well. Talk about boxing. So, yeah.
Happy days. And again, another team on the cusp, just below in 8th position, but only a point difference between yourselves and Luton. A lot's been made since the change. Tony Mowbray taking over, and you sort of found that formula now, and it seems to be building week by week. Obviously, you do a podcast with your good mate. Tell people where they can find you and your stuff.
Yeah, we're at What a Ball Ache. It's WABA Pod on Twitter. I think we're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. It's somewhere in the probably the pit. I would imagine. But yeah, you can find us. Like I say, Twitter and Facebook for now. I am on as ant_Watson. Also represent the Roker Report, which is Sunderland fanzine. That's at roker.report on Twitter. Happy days.
And last but not least, Dom, who openly admits being to a Blackburn supporter.
Enemy territory today.
To be fair, though, we jest, but 3rd in the table, 42 points. The best of the rest in that playoff hunt. How do you feel it's going for you at the moment under John Dalton Masson? And tell people where they can find you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people wanted a mid-table finish at best this season. I think that's what most people predicted. And the amount of losses, if you didn't include the draws and the wins, probably would have summarised the bottom 3, to be honest with you. We're either really good or really bad. And, as soon as we go 1-0 down, then we've lost the game and you can go after 30 minutes. You can catch me on the Rovers chat. Well, I'm sure people on here probably won't. But I've also got my own personal channel, which I do more general stuff. Like today, I spoke about Gareth Bale and his retirement on Don Meadowcroft. Like that's just my name.
No, happy days indeed. Just to let you guys know that are watching, all the links to the respective channels are in the chat for you, and I've put in the Apple podcast link. So people can do it that way for you, and everybody else I've put in, obviously the YouTube. I couldn't find it, and like you said, I had to dig really deep. But
there's nothing on, to be honest.
It's right. Ollie, I will come back to you first and foremost then. As I say, 2nd in the table, flying at the moment. What have you made of your season so far?
Yeah, excellent, to be honest. Better than I expected. I always refer to myself as the pessimistic one. So whenever on the channel, I'm the one who's most likely predictors to completely fall off a cliff and get relegated. So it's always nice for us to be doing well. And it's been excellent. We had a really fantastic start. I think we were top of the league after the first... Well, when we got to the first international break, then it felt as though we were falling apart a little bit. We got some injuries and went on a sort of 6-7 game run without winning, at which point, I thought we were reverting to type. I thought at that point we would probably get lost in the shuffle with everybody else and you'd be looking at a playoff contention. But we've just put such a run together the last few weeks, sort of tailored with other people not being able to buy a win at times. It's been massive and really fantastic to see. So, yeah, been an excellent season. Some standout players, but also some standout recruitment in the summer. Anel Ahmedhodzic has been just fantastic, really stepped into that sort of bashing position. And, yeah, I'm feeling good, which is a weird position to be in. My dad will never forgive me.
Obviously, you were close last year. This year, obviously, you finally deciding to put that run to some good use, and obviously it's helping with where you are in the table. 51 points. Yeah, okay, I know I said it, five difference. We'll take a point for each goal you put past us. We'll put it that way. But are you confident that this can continue? Because the way you're playing at the moment, even in that QPR game, I thought, is the little crack starting to appear? But then yet again, every team's going to have a blip. And whether that's over 90 minutes or a run of games, how do you see it though?
Yeah, I completely agree, to be honest. You know, we've been on a fantastic run results-wise, and we've picked up a lot of wins since the World Cup break, but the performances haven't been fantastic. And we've had a lot of games there where we've sort of turned up. We've done enough in the first half to get ourselves ahead, taken a 1-2 goal lead in some occasions, and then dropped back and really invited pressure. You know, we saw against Wigan on Sky that, you know, we were susceptible. They scored and really had us under pressure for sort of the last 10, 15 minutes. So I think we are hoping that that sort of performance level will start to kick up again. We'll get back to our best with a bit more fitness, with a bit more energy in the team. But I think the key thing is, you know, we are looking like our best defensively. So even with occasionally with players missing, you know, John Egan's had to miss one, particularly at the wing backs, we've been struggling a little bit, but players are getting back now. I think how strong we are defensively really sets us up well, which means I think it is something we can keep doing. I don't think it's something that we're going to go out and get battered, because I just think defensively we're solid enough to stand up to an onslaught like that. And therefore that puts us in a great position when we do have a little bit of X factor going forwards. We can create us chances, create us goals. And it just puts you on a fantastic setting to go forwards that.
No, it does. It sure does. I mean, Pidge, you've been, you know, you're a supporter of a team that has... dare I say it without sounding disrespectful, but yo-yoed between the Prem and the Championship quite often. Is this Watford's best chance of gaining promotion? But I don't know what happened there.
No, it's all right, mate. You said our best chance of gaining promotion.
Yeah, do you think it's your best chance of gaining promotion, but also stabilising it as well?
Well, you're looking at the start of the season when we had Edwards, and Duxbury came out, and like we've known him to be a serial liar, but he came out at the start of the season and said, look, new fresh start, we'll try and build with a young coach, give him time. Most of us knew that wasn't going to happen, but said, look, let's roll with it. We had a good win against the boys who are high flying at the moment, Sheffield United, first game of the season. I mean, look at the transition of fortunes there now, but we were building something, and yeah, it just sort of fell apart a little bit. I mean, really poor result away at Blackburn. Fair play to the Blackburn lads; they deservedly beat us. Edwards, really, if you're looking at the way it was going, he was. People can say he was out of his depth, but you know, it's a shame because a lot of us said as well, you look at it from both ends of it, you know, maybe he was out of his depth with the egos. I think what we had a lot of egos at Luton. He's got a team of players that, you know, and this has been actually for once being respectful to Luton, they've got players that have got point to prove. They're more of a unit. They haven't got many egos there, and it's probably more suited to him there. I think he was on a hiding to nothing, to be honest, because after it started going wrong, Gino, like he usually does, puts his foot down and says, right, I want my own man in. So he got Bilic in. Played a bit more adventurous, to be fair. I mean, I think the formation that Edwards was trying to do just didn't suit us. He was playing the left back at right wing back, stuff like that. And we were very, like we do now, we do start slow. But with Bilic, I think he's been hampered a lot greatly with injuries. But we started the season with, I mean, it was definite the best front three in the division with Pedro, Sarr and Dennis. Okay, one of them's gone, one of them's woefully out of form, and one of them's injured. So that's pretty much our front three have gone so far. Okay, we brought in Dennis. We brought in a few players like Hamza Chowdhury, who's, you know, a lot of people giving him stick from our point of view, but he's a good player. But yeah, we're looking at bringing on some players second half of the season. Fourth place with about 16 players out, either injured or suspended. I mean, we'd take that at the moment. I think we've got one of the best squads in the division. Problem is, though, when we get a few players injured, it definitely shows. I think any team will struggle with the amount of midfielders we've got out injured. But, performances are the thing that we can't excuse. I think that's been our Achilles heel a lot of the time. We've been going out to places where you think, well, okay, at least putting a decent performance, we've come out really, really poor. It'll be the other games. Sorry, T-Boy, but when we beat the Scum 4-0 or we went to Stoke 4-0, and games like that, we could come out playing absolutely brilliant football, but consistently we're where we are because we're not consistently putting in the performances yet.
No, I mean, and the big question could be seen as a pointless question, or why am I even asking it? Because we'll be asking it again in a few games' time. Is Bilic going to get time?
I believe he will under Gino, but people are saying, "What are you smoking?" Because they never get time, and we've had some very good.
Yeah,
we've had some really poor coaches, but we've had some really good coaches that haven't been given time. And like I said, hark back to Edwards, we were really sort of looking at trying to build a younger team and try and have some basis. Because last time we got promoted, you look at us last season, was a complete embarrassment, and we weren't ready for promotion. You never can be too ready, but yeah, we want to. If we do have any chance of going up this year, then at least have some sort of contingency plan in place, because last time it was, just bring in players just for the sake of it.
No, fair play. Then from one rival to the next, I mean, Luton were very, very close last season. This season, do you believe you can go that one step further and at least be in the playoffs come the end of it?
Definitely. Something I've noticed with us as well since we've been in the Championship is we seem to just progress each season, finish higher and higher. I see now when we're playing with, the higher sort of end teams like yourselves and Sheffield United, for example, we are putting up very good games as well. We're drawing the games, which is better than losing, of course. And you see, majority of your games right now, you guys are winning, and how far you guys are ahead, looking at games like that could be really well. The top half teams we, tend to do a lot better with. I look at, what we've done with the summer just gone as well. A lot of times last season, we are very reliant on, Elijah Adebayo, for example. And now we've brought a lot more, strikers in like your Woodrows, your Morrises, and I feel that's just benefited even more, even keeping the experienced sort of players like your Cameron Jeromes, who can come on and put in a shift when he comes on, which, he does tend to do most of the time nowadays. I definitely think we can be up there. I think we've, showed it in games. It has been disappointing at times where we have drawn quite a lot of games already this season, in games where I feel, we should have, done better. But overall, I especially based on since Edwards has come in, you've seen a lot of Luton fans have said we should try and play more, on the ground sort of football, quick passing, because we know we've got the players that are capable of it. And you are seeing it in games, especially the recent ones, for example, like the QPR away game. I think you saw it there where we was just, really good playing like that, because as much as under Nathan Jones, for example, we did, grind out the results. I feel at times a lot of fans got very frustrated with the long balls because at times they just weren't working. And there was glimpses under him where we did used to play, on the ground, and you saw very good, phases at times. The standout game I can think of when we did play like that was Coventry last season. Obviously, we ended up winning that pretty emphatically as well. So, I definitely think we can. We've improved massively on the squad depth as well. Even bringing in Ethan, obviously on loan from Nottingham Forest. Obviously, he's got a lot of experience. He got a little cameo in the playoff final as well. Obviously, international player as well. He's played in Europe. So, I definitely think we can.
And like you say, you touched on there, Rob Edwards. I think he's not been in the job that long, has he? Probably about a month or two.
About.
I mean, what have you made? What did you make of the appointment first and foremost?
So I'll be honest. A couple of days before, I wasn't really I was thinking more, you know, the Watford situation and that sort of thing. But even then, you know, when I looked a bit more into it, I was thinking to myself, you know, it wasn't actually, you know, in my opinion, doing too bad there. They're only a couple of points off, you know, the playoffs. You know, I look at what he's did elsewhere. Obviously, I know it's lower leagues and that, but you know, I feel, you know, I when I did look a bit more into it, I did see glimpses of what we've done previously with, you know, someone like Nathan Jones, for example, where we brought in, you know, he was, you know, young at the time. You know, Rob Edwards was obviously a young manager coming through, and you know, then I started to think, you know what, this isn't going to be as bad as you know, as a lot of us may think it is. And yeah, so far it's been good. You know, only one loss under him, and even then, you know, you saw in that game that we, you know, there was glimpses where we did, you know, you saw things that were a lot better. I just feel, you know, the red card in that game isn't what helped, and obviously that gave Middlesbrough the momentum in that one to go on and win that one. So yeah, overall, and then after that, obviously, you know, got some massive wins, done the double over teams that we haven't obviously done for years, like, you know, QPRs, your Norwiches. So yeah, overall it's been good since he's come in.
Happy days, and I mean, Sunderland, I think from the outside, a lot of the Sunderland fan base probably thought, you know, we've finally got that promotion to the Championship. Finally, can we sort of emulate it back to back? I think just due to the pure size of the club. But you, as a podcaster and as a supporter as well, have always sort of had that sense of realism that you know full well that the Championship's a completely tough division. But where you are, and only being just outside of it, surely you've got to be happy with where you are at this moment. But do you also feel that there is still a little something that could help you kick on?
Yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic the way we start the season. You've got to take into account of, you know, the fact that we've lost our manager early on. I mean, I'm over the moon. He's doing so well at Stoke. You know, the fact that we've had to play 3 months without a striker. You know, finally got them both back, and then one of them's gone back to his parent club. But never mind. But no, like, you know, I would have took a nice boring season, but you don't get that being a Sunderland fan. You know, it's always this roller coaster ride, and we've been absolutely outstanding. You know, I've really got to say it. I think, you know, we've never been outplayed for 90 minutes in a game. You know, obviously, you know, a 45-minute spell against Burnley where Burnley were just better than us. You know, and Burnley ended up, you know, turning around. You know, the odd spell here or there where we have been poor in first half games, we've gone out and won second half, and we've beaten some really good sides. You know, over Boxing Day, you know, we got a win over Blackburn, you know, which was a really, really good game of football. You know, where we are on merit, you know, we're a couple of points off. You know, listen, I don't think we should be in the play. I don't think we should get in them. You know, we just want a good couple of years to, you know, reestablish, reaffirm, and then go for it in a couple of years' time, like what Brentford did. The model that we've got is, you know, we're trying to, you know, develop these young players to sell them at a profit and replenish that, you know, and we'll see what happens if we get up there, mate. Fair play, because, you know, we're a side that, no, I don't think any side would want to play us if it come to a playoff, you know, come to a playoff semi-final, because we just play some lovely.
You and Borough playoff final? Could you imagine that?
Well, I'd be confident of beating them, to be honest. You know, I think Borough have come, you know, they've done really, really well to come back from being, you know, relegation fodder, really, you know, and West Brom. But I would be confident, you know, yeah, I'd be confident against any side, to be honest. You know, we're just playing some really, really lovely football under Mowbray. You know, he's got this attacking, you know, kind of sentiment about him where we're going out to try and outscore teams, and it's really refreshing to see. You know, we've got some great signings. You look at Ahmad, what he's done in the last 6 weeks. You know, he's having a goal of the season tournament on his own. You know what I mean? He's having a really, really good season. You know, we've got Ross Stewart back, and him on his day is the best striker in the division. You know, he is absolutely fantastic. And he's going to play at a Premier League side, whether it is for Sunderland, whether it's not. But, you know, I'm happy. I said before, just when we were all off stream there, I'm happy now to be confident of staying up. And I would have took that on the 9th of January 2023 when the season first started. So, you know, anything from here is a bonus, I think.
No, fair shout. And what's been your thoughts on Tony Moore? Because obviously Blackburn, which obviously Dom I'll speak to about this as well, they thought, we'd hit a point with Tony Mowbray where that was it. He's not going to take us any further. But with you guys, he seemed to have found a formula that's working. I mean, were you happy with the appointment at first? Looking back from that to now, what's your perception?
When he first came in, I thought, good, solid championship appointment, and someone who will stabilise us. And what he's done since he's come in, and like I said, bearing in mind, he's had to do this without a striker for 3 months. He came in, we beat Rotherham, and then the week after Ross Stewart went down, and the week after that, Ellis Sims went down. So a new manager is having to do that without a centre forward, and I think he's done really well. I think in some of his decisions where you're kind of thinking we need a plan B, he doesn't particularly have that. I'll go back to the Burnley game where Burnley started getting on top of us, and he didn't really make the subs at the right time. And
trust me, mate, at half time, I was tempted to go to the pub.
Yeah, well, you had to bring.
Glad I didn't.
A couple of kids on, and they were running around like headless chickens, bless them. And I think West Brom at home, where West Brom, came out in the second half and had a go at us, and he didn't really react. But Barla, I think he's done fantastic. The way he's kind of brought out these improvements in Ahmad and the improvements in Trey Hume, who's just come in. Ellis Sims, when he had him on loan, I think he's gone back to Everton a better player than what he was when he first came. I'm over the moon to have him. I think it will come to a point where, like at Blackburn, he's probably reached his ceiling, reached the top end, and we will have to, bring in another manager. But to stabilise us, there's no one better, and to be honest, no one better than Championship and Tony Mowbray to do that.
No, fair shout. Dom, third in the table, 0 draws yet. You have not drawn a game. You're either shit or bust in this division at the moment.
Yeah.
But you sit third. And like I said, the best of the rest in the playoffs at the moment. What have you made of your season? The new style of play that John Dalton-Masson's brought in, and do you think consistently going into this second half of the season, you will still be in there or thereabouts?
Well, to start with, I think we got Thomason and company on the same day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Essentially, weirdly. But we didn't make any changes properly to the team because we didn't have a backroom staff essentially for the next 3 weeks after it. So there was a lot of late panicking in the transfer window in the summer. But very surprised being third place. Like you say, no draws. I don't know. On the Rovers chat, we try and predict every game, but we haven't got a clue because it's either we're going to win it or lose it. There's no in between. It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation. And I think that's ultimately down to the style that Thomason plays, because it's either really good in the first 10 minutes and we know it was going to go, or it's really bad and he doesn't know how to change it. And he essentially changed it way too late. Look at the Burnley game, the Preston game. If he was here today, 4-2 and 4-1 and 3-0 respectively after and before the World Cup. So that was nice going into the World Cup after that 3-0 loss. But we're very, very clinical, which screams that we're not in the right position in third, essentially, this season. I think most Rovers fans realise that as well. But it's a good foundation to start off with, being third place. 42 points, like you say, is not too bad at this stage. But like last season and the season before, we fell off a cliff after January. So we're ultimately just waiting for that, essentially. A bit of frostbite at Ewood Park sometimes in February, especially last season under Mowbray. I think we got 1 point in 6 or 7 games, lost 6 in a row, something like that. And that's really the reason why we thought that we got to the end of our tether with Mowbray, because it was just the same situation going into every single season. It was a net positive, obviously, with Mowbray, but what you asked about consistency, I hold my hands up. I haven't got a clue. I think the hope for our squad is quite small compared to even the likes of Watford with 15 out. Obviously, you two at the top two have a big squad as well. The likes of West Brom and Middlesbrough have a big squad compared to us. If we lose Brereton, be it through a transfer or injury like last season, then we're really struggling. We've only got Gallagher up top there, and we just let go of another striker, so we're looking to get at least 2 more strikers up there. But if we don't do that, then we're really going to struggle going forward, because there has been games where we've been really poor going forward, and it is this 3 games a week situation that's cost us ultimately because we have such a small squad.
No, I mean, somebody said earlier in the chat, they mentioned, what's your opinion on the inconsistency with losing 12 games but being still sat in third? And then also said, is Diaz on his way out of Ewood?
I don't think he is. Venky's renowned for not budging from where they value players, which is a good way to think. I think that we didn't let go of Rothwell and Lenihan and Niambe last January because we were going for the top 6. And you could say that we lost a lot of money for them, but we didn't pay a single penny for them in the first place. And it was the right move, and it's the right move this time. I don't think, unless Everton, because they're awful at spending last 10 years, we've known that, give us 15 million, then happy days, we can replenish that with another striker. I'm sure we've got some in the pipeline, but I don't think we'll sell him. And losing 12, winning 14, drawing 0, being third with the third most losses in the league is a strange feeling, because we were poor against Burnley, poor against Sunderland, poor against Luton, Sheffield United. There was only Watford in this chat that we're actually good against. Sorry, Pidge. But there has been a lot of games where we have been really good, and we don't tend to push forward for a second. We usually get a goal, then hold back. That's why our XG is very low. And I know there's a couple of podcasts out there that like to scream about our XG and we're in the wrong position, but we're very good at controlling games once we go 1-0 up.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, Vicky said earlier, and this is a question to any one of you, feel free to answer at any point, but she said, question through the Championship teams that are building up, do you think your team would be ready for the Premier League? I think that's hard to answer, isn't it? Because depends on where you are now. Is that where you are now, or do you think of where you could be when you're up there?
Yeah, that's a really tricky question, because obviously it's not that long ago that we were there, and I'm maybe still scarred from the last time we were there, because that was not the most fun I've ever had following United, shall we say. I think I don't think the squad right now, I think we would be in a big fight to try and stay up. I think it'd be a big effort for us to be able to do that. But I think with the right investment, I think with the right sort of transfers, we certainly would be in a position where we maybe can have a decent season and we would potentially be able to stay up. But it would take a lot of investment. It depends who gets relegated as well, because you look at some teams in the Premier League and you think, yeah, we could have a go at them. And then there are others that are down there that if they manage to stay up this year with their spending power, how much better will they get? So I think it's tough to predict. But right now, if we were to go up, I'd say we'd probably come back down second or third from bottom.
I mean, Doug's just put in the chat here before I asked Pidge the same question. Are you surprised how well you've done this season?
Yes, I thought we'd be up there. I'll be honest. I thought we'd probably be playoffs similar to last season, and we all know our record in the playoffs, so I didn't really hold out loads of hope of us getting promoted. I think being second is probably about right positionally, but I think it's the gap that most surprises me. I don't think I expected to have such a gap to third behind us. And I think certain players as well have really stood out that maybe we weren't expecting. From last year, we've lost Morgan Gibbs-White, and there was a real concern of where our creativity would be, how we would be able to gel the same going forwards. But McBurney's stepped up to be counted. We've had Njai step up to be counted. And me and Doug obviously had different thoughts on where we were going to be this season. I introduced it at the start, though. I'm always more pessimistic than maybe others. So while I say I'm surprised, I'm not sure many others were.
No, I mean, Pidge, you probably, out of all of us here, have the squad capable that, you've kept the bulk of the players you've had over these Premier League seasons. You've not, the success that Sarah's had in promotion and relegation, and yet he's still a Watford player. I mean, for you, do you think statistically and with the players you've got, you are the strongest probably out of the bunch here? Because I'd say so.
Well, in terms of squad, we've got definitely a top 2 squad, but in terms of attitude, certain games, the application hasn't been there. But if to answer the question of would we, how we would do in the Premier League next season, we'd finish bottom with the team we've got now. We've just brought in Ben Manga from Eintracht Frankfurt and his close companion as well that worked alongside each other, and look how well the transfers have worked out over in the Bundesliga for them. I'm fortunate to watch a lot of Bundesliga because me German team's Dortmund, and they've been fantastic. And since we heard that Ben Manga was coming over as our chief scout, a lot of us got very excited because we know the type of transfer he's brought in, and he's already brought in a player from Benfica and Ferreira, a right back. So we're identifying what we need to bring in. So the significant investment needs to be done. We need to ship out a load of players, not the extent of the Nottingham Forest route, what they've been doing.
With a B team, C team, and D team that they could put together.
Yeah, we won't put an E team out there. Maybe get to a C team, but no, we'll it'll be a massive C change because a lot of the players, when we last went down, all buggered off to one of our parent clubs, Udinese. We usually get a lot off of them, and they usually get all of our lot. But yeah, significant investment, but we're going the right way about it with the people behind the scenes now. So starting to fix a few people that will hopefully make the right signings. And over in Frankfurt, he made young, hungry, point to prove signings, and we need a few more of them. So at the moment, no way we wouldn't last 5 minutes in the Premier League. It'd be even worse than last time. But I think if we go the right way, what we're doing at the moment, and we get a bit of luck and we do manage to get promoted again, then yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, Johnny asked at Earpage, if you was to sign one player from any club in the Championship, who would it be?
100% Grimes, centre midfielder from Swansea.
Really?
Yeah, I've been. I'll tell you what. When we last got relegated, I said get Ivan Toney in, get Jamal Lowe, and get Grimes in from Swansea, because he's a leader, he's a captain, and he's one of those players that can make that step up. But we've signed a player called Martins from Fluminense, same place we got Pedro and Richarlison from. And they reckon he's better than Richarlison at the age that he's got now. They reckon potentially. Wow. That's one thing the Pozzos get right. When we go to Brazil, we pick up a few gems, but definitely Grimes for me.
No, fair shout. Doug says there as well, will you keep Sarr this window?
There's a lot divided. A lot of people say hope not. He's very erratic with his performances. You see the performance he did against United last season, the Liverpool 3-0 a couple of seasons ago. That is the player that we know we've got. The frustrating thing is he doesn't show that enough. And if we can get 25, 30 million out of him, then we'll snap their hands off. But a lot of people think that he's not going to stay.
Do not?
No.
Wow. I mean, to you as well, T-Boys. I mean, do you think that you would be ready to fire on all cylinders? Because for me, you out of the lot of us would be the unknown quantity, and I think a lot of teams would underestimate what you've got.
Yeah, no, 100%, and the fact we've never been in it as well is another reason that you say that. But honestly, I personally think we would go straight back down, but I think we'd make a really good go of it, and make a good showing of ourselves in the sense where I feel we would get some shock results somewhere, but overall, throughout the whole season, we'd still end up obviously going down, in my opinion. But yeah, it's one of them for me where all the journey we've been on, through these 10 years, you could say 9 years now, of obviously since the conference all the way we jump back up, and I feel that could attract certain players, certain experienced players in that sense, that have had a bit of a go in the Premier League, that are obviously, I'd say more ones that are obviously getting older, but I feel we could still attract them sort of players. You saw it last season with Snodgrass, for example. I did not think for a while, we'd get somebody like that. So, yeah, it's one of them for me. It's one of them where I feel we would go down, but I think we'd make a good showing of ourselves, a lot better than what majority of people would think.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just playing Tetris with you all, so don't worry about me.
My fault, that. Sorry, team.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, and for me, I thought you had one of the strongest squads in League One. I mean, signing someone like Paddy Roberts, who had, the loans at Celtic, and it'd been around making loan moves left, right, and centre. For me, when you signed him, I thought it was a real coup, especially for League One. But you said there, Ellis Sims came in on loan. You've got Ross Stewart. I think Doug asked earlier, is Ross Stewart going to stay in this window? Which I'm sure you'll give me your answer to that. But do you think if you was to fight in the playoffs, you would be ready to go to the Premier League?
No. Look, the model's there, the plan's there, and it's not to go up this season. It's to establish ourselves. For maybe this season, maybe next season, and keep improving. Keep improving season after season after season, and eventually, they'll make the push to go up there. I think this season's a little bit far. Right, to be honest, I think it's far too early for us. We would have to spend a hell of a lot of money if we went up at the end of this season. We have got some fantastic players, as you said there. Paddy Roberts has been absolutely superb. He's what we've kind of done is use these players who have kind of needed a home. You look at Jack Clark as well. His big move to Tottenham didn't quite work out. He's come here, he's had his arm. They've had the arm around him, and he's come on a lot this year. You look at the loanee in Ahmad who went to Rangers last year and didn't really do it. He's come here. Tony Mowbray's used his man management experience, and now he's looking a world class player. To be totally honest, he's looking a fantastic signing, and if we went up and as much as I would be very, very happy to go up and be back in the Premier League, I think it would need a hell of a lot of work, and we would probably end up coming back down. Yeah, Doug mentioned there Pritchard, absolutely superb player, and what these players have been players who haven't quite made it at big money moves, come to Sunderland, try to resurrect the career, and they've kind of bought into what this club is about, what this new kind of regime is going to be all about as well. And to be honest as well, and this isn't meant to sound arrogant as well, not many of these players will go on to play for bigger clubs in Sunderland. This was their last chance. And especially in Patrick Roberts' case, he'd been, left, right, and centre, hadn't he? And he's come here, he's found a home. So I'm just happy to keep on, developing these players, developing a younger player. I mean, we brought a 15-year-old kid on Saturday, you know what I mean? That's the new Sunderland way, and keep developing these players, and then once we're ready, making a good go of it, But this season, I think it's a little bit too early for us.
No, fair one. Dom, I mean, some of the players you've got, I think Kaminsky's a decent keeper. I really do rate. I mean, I think Dak's dropped off quite a bit, but you've got Diaz, the man who's sort of wanted by a lot of Premier League teams, even teams abroad. I know people say that a lot rides on him, but one man doesn't make a team. Do you think that your team would be capable and ready to go in the Premier League?
To sort of change the answer to everybody else, because everyone said no, essentially. I'm going to say it's more of a case of a different style than a different players, because look at Brentford, they were so fluid with the front four, weren't they? Were in the Championship and the passing style, and then as soon as they get to the Premier League, it's more of a controlled based defensive unit, and they're building on that. So I think it's the case of being effective with how you spend the money. With look at Fulham a couple of years ago, look at Forest this season. They're just throwing money and hoping it sticks, but I think it's more of a case of the recruitment being right rather than the recruitment being big. I don't think it just rides on Brereton. I think Gallagher's at the moment more important than Brereton. I think we win more when he's there. Dax obviously fell off a cliff because he's got no knees left, which is a shame because he probably would be a Premier League player now.
He's been linked with like Sheffield Wednesday or something like that.
I don't think anymore.
With somebody in League One.
He's been out of the team at the start of the season, and then last month or so, he's probably been one of our best players. To be
Who's had
honest
more
with you.
injuries this year, Dak or Olivia Atwood? And it's
No
not
comment,
because the two of them aren't doing sporting activities together, are they? Is that why they're getting injured?
Oh God, you mean the ITV2 show?
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Well, he made more appearances on that than last 2 seasons. So, yeah, I think Kaminsky's probably one of the best keepers in the league. It's a shame that Courtois and Mignolet are in the Belgian squad, or else he'd be a regular or in the World Cup essentially. I think a player that we nearly got in the summer, and the one that I'd like in our team is the centre back from Sheffield United, Ahmed Hodzovic.
Yeah, because you two were in a battle for him, weren't you?
Well, he was at Malmo where Thomason was at, so there was that link there, and I think obviously Sheffield United right now, you'd say, are a bit more of a luxurious. You know, the contract's going to be bigger, isn't it? Essentially, there, and the stature of the team is a lot bigger as well. So I can understand why he went. To the dismay of me.
Yeah, he had existing links with us as well. Obviously, come through at Forest and had some time there working with Jack Lester. So I think we'd also got a little bit of the personal connection. And then obviously, if we did have more money or whatever else factors into that, I can see why he'd come. But he's a fantastic player. He's really excellent. And so I think I'm delighted that he chose us. Let's put it that way.
I bet. I mean, I know Pidge answered it earlier, but I'll ask everybody else as well. Ollie, if you could pick one player from one club in the Championship this year, who would it be?
Gyökeres from Coventry, I think. Obviously, the one thing that you're always going to need if you're going up, if you're in the Premier League, wherever you are, is somebody who's going to guarantee your goals. And I think he's probably the standout striker in the division. McBurney's been excellent, but I still think there's room there for improvement. And if Gyökeres could come in, I think for me, he's the standout player that's not called Iliman and Jai.
Get it in there. Just get it in there. I mean,
every time.
Tyler, what about you? Who would you go for?
It's one of them for me where I feel what we need to do mainly is, and I've said it since the summer just gone, and unfortunately we didn't do it, is replace not Naismith essentially, but that position, as he was playing there a lot last season, obviously on that left-sided centre-back. I can't think of names specifically, but just somebody that can play there, and that's, a ball-playing centre-back, because I feel that's what you mainly need nowadays. So, yeah, just anyone there, really. I can't think of a name specifically, but, yeah, just anyone there that's ball-playing, really.
That's right enough. That's right enough. At least you know where you think you need that player that would, emphasise your team. So, fair shout. I mean, Ant, what about yourself?
I really like Bird from Sheffield United. I think he was excellent when he played against us. So he's probably been the best player I've seen against us this season. So it will be him. But we kind of needed a centre midfielder, a bit of a shithouse, to be honest. So without mentioning names, a shithouse, please.
It's all right. And a team full of shithouses, Dom. I mean, who would you put in your side?
When he's fit this season, Ross Stewart looks like a class player for Sunderland. Zion Fleming from Millwall looks like a great talent, a young talent that's come through out of nowhere. Like I said, I'd Ahmed Hozid. I've tried to write it down. I still can't say it. Anil from Sheffield United.
Call him Anil,
would be the one. Those are probably the three I'd say right now. I don't want to say a Burnley player on there. There probably are a few.
It's all right. It's all right. Feel free.
Nah, we can't do that. So. But those are the three. Those are the three I'd say.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Henry says there, Bill and Lloris both retire, which is funny because basically Spurs' last two decent players have now decided to call it a day. Just something's got to give. Johnny says Manuel Benson is best in the Championship by far. I mean, everyone will have their own thoughts. I'll finish this off then. I will wrap it up. with your thoughts so far, like I say, your seasons, you've given us that. You give us your thoughts on your managers, a player you'd like to sign, etc. Where now do you think you will finish, Ollie, come the end of the season?
From this position.
Yeah, from this position now, how do you see it going from here now?
From this position, I think it'd be remiss of me not to think that we're going to get promoted. I'll be honest, from what I've seen so far, I do think that Burnley are probably the best team in the league, which means you'll probably win it. I like to think, though, that we're going to run you close. I think we'll probably come second, and I'll take that. I think just any kind of promotion will do the job. I think if we don't get automatic promotion, there'd be questions to ask from this position.
No, that's fair enough. Pidge, I mean, is the playoffs where it's going to be, or do you think you can catch Sheffield United in that second spot, or even win it? I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I mean, anything can happen, anything can change. It's still only halfway. I mean, where do you think you'll be come the end?
The signings we're bringing in, and obviously with the players slowly coming back, I think we'll get playoffs. I think running Sheffield United close, it may happen, but at the moment, the way it's going, your two teams are absolutely running away with it at the moment. But I think we'll definitely get playoffs, and hopefully, it probably won't happen because we didn't do it last time. A nice cheeky win on April Fool's Day as well. It didn't happen last time, by the way, because we turned up there and they wanted it more and they deserved to beat us.
Oh well, good luck all the same. I mean, Tyler, can you actually finish in the playoffs and potentially go on and win it?
Like I said, I reckon we will get playoffs again. I just feel, like I said earlier, it links back to what I said, where we've just built season upon season since we've come in. We look at majority of stuff that we've had to, improve on, which is obviously squad depth massively. You've seen, we've done that, especially, up front. Like I say, left-sided centre-back. It's one of them where if it wasn't to get somebody there, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I just feel, players like Potts, as much as he's had a very, very good season. I thought last season, his last game for us was going to be against Middlesbrough because it's his first game back in a while. He was just all over the place, got a yellow card, and it was difficult for, him to get ahead of other players. So, at that time, I thought it was going to be his last game. He's come in this season, he took over the armband because Sonny Bradley's obviously been out for a lot of games and he's done a really good job, to be honest with you. But I just feel going forward, I wouldn't mind keeping him, but I just feel we need that another option as well. In that sense. But overall, I feel, we've got the capability to do it again. Go on and win it? Potentially. Because I feel, the main reason, we didn't get to the final last season was because we didn't have them options up front at that time. Obviously, Elijah was injured, if you saw that game when he come on, he couldn't even walk properly. And Cornick, as much as he's improved on his finishing, there's still times where it's not so great. And at the end of the day, what a lot of Luton fans seem to forget sometimes he's not actually a striker. He's more of an, he's a winger. He sets you up and works well in that sense. He doesn't really get the goals like a Morris, for example, or somebody like that. So, yeah. And then, obviously the final, never say never. It could go either way. So, yeah, I definitely think we can definitely get in there again. That's for sure.
Sounds all right, does that? I mean, fingers crossed to you for the rest of the season. Hope it comes off. And you'll be having one look over your shoulder on, trying to get into that playoff place. Do you think you can get into it, or do you think you'll just narrowly miss it? And to be fair, I sound a bit wrong not asking you similar to Tyler. Do you think if you do get in it, you can go all the way in it?
I think we can get in. I don't think we will, but I think if we do get in, we'll go all the way. It's a Sunderland way, you know what I mean? It's the way it is. It's like I said, with bar the top two, I think the top two are gone, but I think anyone else in this league can beat anybody else. So, if we can go on a good run, maybe win 6 out of 8 games. It depends what we do is also in January, and we've been linked with some really good players. So I think we've got the capability, we've got the squad to do it, we've got the players to do it, but you know, as I've said all podcast really, it's a season of sustainability, and whatever happens from here, I'm happy. To be honest, I don't think we'll go down.
No, I don't think you will. I think you're as safe as houses in this division anyway, whether it's playoffs or mid-table. I think
We're just happy to be here, Dan. We'll have this season where we'll be happy. You know what I mean?
Pointless being up there while the Scabs are having their success, isn't it? And just sort of, why not have that success in the championship and sort of forget about them?
Well, we've got further in the FA Cup than them, so, you know.
Hey.
Beating League One sides is not for everybody, guys. That's all I'll say about that.
Definitely not. Dom, again, in the playoffs, and I know we've said that you're up there in third. Do you see that the fortunes changing? Is the inconsistency going to end at some point?
I hope not, because if it carries on like this, then obviously we'll be in the playoffs. And I've never seen my team in a playoff. I think it was the season before the Premier League. That was the last time we were in the 91. I think the last time we were in the playoffs. So I've also never seen us at Wembley. That we've been at Wembley for the new one 15 years. Still the only team in the Championship and Premier League not to gone to Wembley. So whether it's it's not going to be the FA Cup, is it? The playoffs is the best chance for that, and I really, really do want that. I think that we didn't expect us to be in this position, so I'm really hoping that this is a platform for us to get there. I think the top two, like you say, the positions are already sorted. Yeah, please don't make it that.
No.
But
I couldn't take it.
We say that the top two are sorted, but Bournemouth fell off a cliff around this stage of the season last season, and we ended up being second at one point. But obviously we also fell off a cliff, so that helped them out. So we're almost hoping for that. It's not a great thing to hope for, but I think that the last couple of games have showed us that we can play with a more consistent basis rather than sort of getting away with it in each and every other game. Like it didn't work well at the Burnley game. Like I said again, I know you'll love hearing that. But the last couple of games have shown a good sign. Like away at Norwich, we've not won there in 20 odd years, and then last couple we've won twice in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, praying that we're in the Premier League again.
Oh well, let's. You know what? There's a part of me, even as a Burnley supporter, that is like, I'd still like you to come up as well, just because then you've still got that games between the two of you.
Yeah.
But then it's one of those where around other Burnley fans, you don't really. It's not one of those things that you'd shout from the rooftops in the pub.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. I'm not going to be in a pub in Burnley anytime soon, anyway, so it's absolutely fine.
That's all right. Sheffield United away. All these boys have said Illiman and Dye 9 goals, 7 assists. Benson 7 goals, 3 assists. Trying to shut Johnny up, I think.
Just pointing out that Illiman is the best in the league. You know, sometimes you've got to just make sure that everyone's aware. I've said it 3 or 4 times, and they've just given me the data to back me up.
See, that's what it is. That's what it is. Stats are there. Guys, thank you very, very much for this. For some reason, I'm doing a part 2 with all the teams down languishing, which is, I don't know whether I'm basically going to be a therapist at that point or all that, but we'll see. Should be fun, but thanks for giving up your time. I really do appreciate it. Again, I'll go around. Ollie, where can people find you and your stuff?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Beastly Ollie, and you can follow the channel where the Sheffield United Way on YouTube and at Sheffield United Way on Twitter. We've talked about him a lot, so I will just give a quick plug to our interview with Anel Ahmedhodzic. He came on the channel during the World Cup break, so definitely one for you to keep an eye for if you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, definitely. I had to watch that earlier. Really good. I love how Hal looks a bit shocked when Anel says something about him feeling shit at the start, and he goes almost like, "Whoa, wasn't expecting that."
Yeah, we should have known really, because he'd got glandular fever at the time, so I think we all knew he was probably feeling a bit crap. But he also did a nice show and tell for how you should say his name. I'm not going to go out there and say that I can do it, but maybe Dom could preview it for us next time after he watches the video.
Give me 6 months, I still won't get it.
It's like Ahmedhodzic or something like that.
I think it's Ahmedhodzic.
Ahmedhodzic.
But
We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it's one that we'll try and learn. I think the Premier League are going to have to start getting used to it if that is the case. Anyway, Pidge, finally good to get you on the channel as well. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to obviously getting everyone on for match previews when our games come around and stuff. But tell people where they can find you and your stuff as well, mate.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on, mate. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, if you get over to TaylorMade Army TV on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. TaylorMade Army forum, banter forum on Facebook. TMA TV, TMA_TV, in fact, on Twitter. And yeah, if you can get over there and subscribe, it'll be absolutely amazing, people. Thank you.
No, please do. I love it how fans in the chat just don't care. They just don't care. You know what, Pidge? I'm surprised that you and Tyler have sort of, kept us. To be fair, that's why I put you both in a corner each, in the blue corner.
I'd love the final to be Watford Luton, but I could suspicion that will get done. That's the only thing, look, it's waited 25 years to smash them again, but we'll go to their place and it'll be a totally different game. I'm not under no illusions. I can cockily keep saying the home win, but it's going to be a totally different game when we go to the kennel.
Yeah, I bet. I like that. I've never called it just the kennel before, although I do understand why. I do understand why when you have to walk through someone's back garden. I think, Tyler, thanks again for giving up your time. As I say, I know you're doing a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. Where can people find you and your stuff?
Yeah, just obviously T-Boys TV, like you see there. Sorry, thank you for bringing me on, Dan. Much appreciated. And
anytime.
Yeah, literally, if you go on to one of my recent streams, you'll literally see all my socials and everything in the description as well. So yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, anytime. And where can people have their ears bled?
Turf No House TV or something like that.
You bastard. You bastard. Fair shout.
We're at WABA Pod, Wabbit Pod. That is on Twitter. Like I said, don't bother our YouTube channel yet. There's not much on. And you can find me personally at _Waterson and at Roker Report.
Happy days. And Dom, people saying in the chat, don't even give out links to a Rovers channel. But you know what? We're all YouTubers here. We all piss in the same pot. Let us, let's give you the floor and tell us where people can go and show support to yourself.
Yeah, I've got my own YouTube channel, Don Meadowcroft, and I don't speak about Blackburn on there, guys. I promise. I've never spoken about them on there. With that irrelevant. I speak about Premier League, World Cup, and all that. There's no Blackburn, so the Rovers chat, obviously, I do, and keep that one separate. So obviously, I'm hoping that maybe nobody will they? From Burnley chat.
People might. People sometimes like to come in, especially after a defeat. That you might get a few Burnley fans in after a defeat.
Yeah, I spoke about the Burnley 3-0, and there was a lot of Burnley fans on that comment section that day. That was fun.
See, I decided to keep quiet on Blackburn socials that day. I just sat in the background, big bag of popcorn, and just enjoyed the ride. But no, thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. Happy New Year to you all as well, because I know January is going to last for about another 90-odd days yet. But so yeah, can we really say we're halfway through the season? You can get another full season in Jan. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Really do appreciate it. We'll be back on Thursday. Sorry, and earlier, Bristol City fan. He'll be joining us for the prediction show, 9 o'clock on Thursday night. I will also be on Sky Blues TV, a Coventry channel, Thursday at 7:30, and Friday, the boys from Sky Blues Fan TV are going to come over and do it on here as well. So tune in to that if you can. Go show the love and support to all these lads in the chat, in the stream. What am I on about? The descriptions the links are in the description of the video. Finally, go check them out. Go show your support. Great guys, great teams. Even you, Dom. I'll be nice. It can be platonic. As soon as this goes live, I'm like, I was bullshitting. I'm lying.
Snare you.
But thank you very much. Take it easy. Stay safe, and we'll be back with another video real soon. Thanks again.